Okay, this presentation talk about the social virtue in Buddhism. Okay, it will explain the social virtue in Buddhism. The social virtue in Buddhism. A distinction between social and personal virtue is not easily maintained in Buddhist ethics, both intrinsically and in terms of their benefit. The life of virtue inevitably benefits oneself and others, and thus one owes it to oneself to live well with and for others. This can be seen in some verses by Nagarjuna about good qualities that a future Buddha, a Bodhisattva, should cultivate. Because Buddhism believes in the future Buddha will come, known as Bodhisattva. So with the last verse referring to the working of karma, so we will see that verse. In short, the good qualities that a Bodhisattva should develop are generosity, morality, tolerance, heroic effort, concentration, wisdom, loving kindness, and so on. To be generous is to give up one's wealth. To be moral is to endeavor to help others. Tolerance is the abandonment of anger. Heroic effort is enthusiasm for virtue, and so on and so forth. Through meditation, one is peaceful. Through understanding comes liberation. Compassion is what accomplishes all aims. Nagarjuna 78:67. Clearly, social virtue like generosity, morality, tolerance, and so forth are about how we live with and for others. Okay, it is about how we live with others and how we live for others. The fact that we live with others requires us minimally to avoid doing harm to those around us. So minimal requirement for living with others is to avoid ourselves from doing harms to others around us. For Buddhist, action is typed as bodily action, verbal action, and mental action. Three main categories of action: bodily action, verbal action, and mental actions. And thus, avoiding harm to others must be realized in every aspect of person, in every aspect of actions. So beautiful. So Buddhism teaches that men need to avoid themselves from doing harm, whether it is in terms of action, in terms of bodily actions, verbal action, or even mental actions. A standard of 5 precepts for avoiding harm to others consists of refraining from killing, stealing, false speech, sexual misconduct, and the use of intoxicants. Nagarjuna, however, reminds us that to be moral is to endeavor to help others. To be moral is to endeavor to help others, and that what harms others are faults. That is wrong. What helps them are good qualities, and the life of virtue requires us to live for others and not only with others. So the life of virtue requires men to live for others, not just to live with others. The idea that the life of virtue consists of a negative aspect, avoiding harm to others, and a positive aspect, doing good for others, can be seen in a famous verse from the Dhammapada. Yeah? So this famous verse from Dhammapada states that do no evil, do good, purify your own intentions. This is the teaching of the Buddhas. Basically, the life of living for others, as well as of taking care of oneself, is, for Buddhists, essentially defined by a single social virtue. Single social virtue. What is that? That is undifferentiated delight in the happiness of others. And the pursuit of this delight motivates one to act on behalf of others. There is undifferentiated delight in the happiness of others. That is, we feel happy to see others happy. This can be seen in the following Pali text about loving kindness, metta. It is from the Theravada Buddhist tradition of Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia. It begins with some attention to the personal virtue that are necessary support for the social virtue of loving kindness, and then goes on to give instruction for the cultivation of these particular virtues. He who is skilled in good and who wishes to attain the state of calm should act thus. He should be able, upright, perfectly upright, compliant, gentle, and humble, contented, easily supported, with few duties of simple livelihood, control and senses, discreet, not impudent. He should not be greedily attached to families. So you can read all the way till whether one stands, walks, sits, or lies down, as long as one is awake, one should maintain this mindfulness. Cultivating empathy, kindness, and compassion toward others is not an easy task. Why? Because ignorance, desire, and self-interest are not easily uprooted. They not easily can be solved. For such social virtue to develop, better conditions for their flourishing need to be produced. Attention to the big picture. The big picture that we have seen before this, of a person discussed previously, is one way of producing these conditions. Okay, so they need to give attention to the big picture.